ובכל זה יובן מה שכתוב באמץ ויציב. With all this you can understand when it's brought in אמץ ויציב after Shema וטוב ויפה הדבר הזה עלינו לעולם ועד. That this thing is good and beautiful forever and ever. וצריך להבין מהו הדבר הזה. It needs to be understood. What are we talking about when we say this thing? הפרש הרד"ל דקאי על קריאת שמע. The Rada explains that this refers to קריאת שמע והעניין, and the concept is שבקריאת שמע בפסוק ראשון, that in the first pasuk of קריאת שמע זהו עניין ייחוד האלוה. That's the concept of the supernal unity. How everything is incomparable completely, and as if it doesn't exist. As if it doesn't exist. בליקוטי תורה, פרשס אחרי בדיבור המשכיל, כביום הזה יכפר, דרוש השני בתורה אור בדיבור המשכיל והעיר אל אברהם. לכן זהו נקרא הדבר הזה. Therefore it's called this thing. Gila Bechinas Zeh Malchus, the concept of Zeh into Malchus. That Davar is Malchus, and you reveal the Zeh, the concept of Chachma into it. Razaya Malchus Nikra Davar Zeh. Then Malchus is called this thing. Mzeu Inyan Dalid Rabasi de Echad Gadlus Hadibur, and that's the concept of the big Dalid of Echad, which is the greatness of Dibur when it's nimshach into it, the Zeh. Kenyan v'nigdak v'od havaya v'rau chol basar yachtav. Like the concept of, and it's revealed, the honor of Hashem, and all flesh will see together. Kipi Hashem diber, as the mouth of Hashem is spoken. So the honor of Hashem is connected with the Kipi Hashem diber, the revelation through the Dibur. Just like in the time to come it says, Hashem will be Hashem, Hashem will be one, and so forth. So Hashem will be one, and what will we say on that day? Here, Elokeinu is Zeh. Kach means zehu achshav b'pnimis b'kriyat shema. So to now as well, on an inner level, b'kriyat shema, lakach nikra hadavar hazeh chulu. In kriyat shema, therefore it's called this thing. Now we call kriyat shema hadavar hazeh. Vanusha be'emes v'yatziv maskir in kriyas yam suf. And that is that in Emes V'Yatziv we mentioned the splitting of the sea. Ki Yam V'Yabasha Zeu Alma Diskasya V'Alma Diskalya. And that is because the sea and the dry land was the hidden world and the revealed world. Like the concept of this and the concept of like this. So you have a concept of Malchus as Zez in it, and that's like the Yam. And you have the concept of Malchus as it is Ko, and that's the sea, and that's the dry land. Commotion is bor b'diburei hazor Parshas b'shalach al hamayim sham daf mem ches b'dibur hamaschil od yishlomar, like it's explained in Biur Zor when it says hamayim razeh b'ofen acher, this idea in a different way. Yain sham, look over there. Ki kel deus chulu, because Hashem has two, is a divinity of two opinions. And that's why by the splitting of the sea we said this is our kale. Zedavka, specifically the word zeh, that the other prophets did not merit, that they had prophecy with the word ko. And that's because by the splitting of the sea, the hidden world shined in a revealed state truly. And that's like the idea. How when speech, which is called the revealed world, shines the same light just like it's in thought. That's called the hidden world. And that's when speech is called this thing with zeh. And look what's brought in the verse, that a goat for a sin offering to Hashem, because I lessened the moon. L'sham nizbor al pi Mamar Azor pekudei daf reish lamed hey amud beis Parshas shnia me'oros hagedolim, that there explains al pi Zohar pekudei about the two great lights. Zeu beis Hashem usavai Elokim, that the two great lights correspond with the names of Havaya and Elokim, shekashehem bechibur achada. When they're in one unity, then you call them the two great lights. When Havaya and Elokim unite, Ein Zohar Truma Kuf Mem Zayin Sof Amud Beis Nikneshneim Hagedolim Al Derech Gadol Havaya Chulu Bir Elokeinu Chulu, like the idea of how Havaya is great within the city of our Elokim. So when it's within the city, so both are great. Yidhainu Olam Adibur Chulu, and that is that the city refers to the world of speech and so forth, made out of bricks and letters. V'shiyihye Gam Adibur Nikra Ohr Hagadol, and to have also speech be called the great light. That's like when it's called the great, this thing of Shema, Shugamkin Bechinas Aspaklaria Hami'ira, which is also called the glass that's brilliant, the brilliant glass, like the concept of how Hashem Havaya corresponds with the sun in comparison to the moon. And look what's brought in the Mamar about B'shah Shektimu, about the idea about those who do his words and to listen in the voice of his words, in two levels as well. And with this you can also understand this, that it says that you should let them be known to your sons and the sons of your sons, and then it brings right next to it the day that you stood by Har Sinai, just like over there, with fear and trepidation and trembling and sweating. So to here, when we study Torah now and teach it to our children, it should be with fear. That at first glance is not understood this likeness. Just like then, so too now. That by this the standing by Har Sinai, when you had the revelation of the divine presence, with voices and with lightning, with thunder and lightning, and all the nations saw the voices. And Hashem spoke to us face to face, so that makes sense. Which is not the case with the study of Torah of each man. How do you say that now we also have to do it with the same trembling? And there it gives an answer in the Mamar in Torah Ohr, that's because when in the study of Torah of each person in all times, it's truly the word of Hashem that was said to Moshe on Har Sinai. And like the concept of my words that I placed in your mouth, and through this will fall upon him fear and awe and trembling and sweating with Shehin that these 4 levels of fear come from the 4 letters of Hashem's name. And the explanation of this matter, that since Moshe stood on Har Sinai Mem Yom 40 days, and received the Torah as it is on supernal unity, and there it's higher than the concept of time. And afterwards he brought it down into this world, in place and time, and therefore he waited 40 days and 40 nights. And we can say that it corresponds with the 4 letters of Hashem's name, and each one is composed of 40. Ohr Hatorah shloshim shel matzah v'asara shel chametz shem neged chesed gvur tiferes malchus. We can say, look what's brought in Mizmor L'Soda concerning the 40 chalas, that 30 were matzah and 10 were chametz, that they correspond with chesed gvur tiferes and malchus. Kol echad kol mirchulu, each one composed of 10. So you have then the malchus corresponds with the 10 of chametz. Gamar b'ayim yom shel yitzilas havlad. So too you have 40 days of the forming of a child in the womb. And the Mishnah also begins with mem. When do we read Shema? Mistayamis b'mem b'shalom, and it ends with mem. So too, we can awaken to the idea of how there's 40 sayas in the mikvah, that correspond with the 4 yuds of Shemav, and that is to draw down the yud of the supernal wisdom, to bring them down into all the 4 worlds. That's what you accomplish when you go to the mikvah. You bring down supernal wisdom into all the 4 worlds. So too I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. You have 4 yuds, daled yudin b'sofei tevos, b'shoshanim, and that's the idea of grazing amongst the flowers. As shoshonim, al tikri shoshanim ela shoshonim. Don't read it, the flowers, but read it those that read halachos, because the Torah that was given in 40 days, daled yudin hanal, correspond with these 4 yuds. So you have the Yud Gimel Midas Harachmim also corresponds with the giving of the Torah, and the Chochmah law of the 4 Yuds. In the and look what's brought in the Siddur about the mikvah, that a spring purifies with the smallest amount, which so that hence to the concept of the chokhmah itself, the essential yud of chokhmah, that which is the mayan, chokhmah ma'ayin timatzeh, and chokhmah comes from nothing, from naught, and that's the concept of the smallest amount, as if it's not there, because it's from like ayin v'mikveh bina, and the mikveh itself is the level of bina. Sham hua hasag alahan chilo havayesh, that there you have the concept of grasping to give an inheritance to my loved one of something of yesh. And Bina receives from the Miloi of Shemav, Shem Daled Yudin, which is these 4 yuds, Al Ken Zeo Mem Seah, so that's why the mikveh, which is Bina, corresponds with the 40 Seah of the 4 yuds of the Miloi of Ubemeore or osmem sif beis ki mikva Yisrael havaya. And meore or that this idea of that Hashem is the mikvah of Yisrael. V'dalet osios havaya kol echad kol miyud. And the 4 letters of Hashem's name, each one has a yud, him, mem, seah, that corresponds with these 40 seah. And so too Morior brings as well that these corresponds with the 40 days that Moshe stood by the mountain of Sinai. Shaman Moshe Bahar ki Torah nimshach michachma bina, because Torah is drawn from wisdom and understanding. Shen beis alafim shekad malolam, that these are the 2,000 that were before the world. Alef chachach machulu, I will teach you wisdom and so forth. So that's the 2,000s or the 2 Alephs from before the world. I guess there's 4 Yuds and 2 Alephs. And the uniting of wisdom and understanding through Miloy Hashem Av, Shendal Yud and Kanal, which are the 4 Yuds, like we said, that it goes from Chachma of Shem Av into Bina to fill the mikvah with 40 seah. And look in Pardes, in Yandalid Yudin Eludav, about these 4 Yuds of the Shemav, Hagba Meod Naila, how it's very high. Bekeser Chachma Bina should be Keser. In Keser Chachma Bina of Keser, that these 4 Yuds correspond with the highest levels of Keser. Lamaila Ma Keser Chulu, and higher than Keser, according to Pardes. It's in the Tzachos themselves, the Spheres Hagnuzus. Al kol panim shorash Torah mekora nimshach milamayla mazman, at least at any rate, so the source of Torah is drawn from higher than time. It's only that it's drawn down into time and space. Al kin gamachav, therefore now as well, when a person reads in Torah and studies the Mishnah, it's as if a person receives it from Mount Sinai, in the concept of the supernal unity, with these 4 ideas of fear and awe, and trembling and sweating, which corresponds with these 4 yuds, that from there it was taken, like Chava was taken from Adam, and that's the expression that's used. So to the Torah was taken from Chachmei law. So too with the concept of Shabbos, which is called the 7th day. Even though it's really tens of thousands of days, but because on Shabbos we go higher than time, which is the concept of Hashem's name, that it includes past, present, and future in one moment, and from there it shines into the concept of time. Parshas and therefore, and similarly it's in Torah, that it's higher than time, just like Shabbos is. Therefore, anyone who studies Torah, it's as if they brought an Ola, because it's Lamaila from it's higher than the Chorban, because it's higher than time. Even somebody who studies at night loves manakravahu, even though nighttime is not a time of bringing a korban. And also we don't have the temple and so forth. Just like it says in that Mamar, then on this day you will atone and so forth. And the explanation of the Mamar of in the time that they prefaced Nasal and Ishma. Kitzer Hanavim Shnisnamu B'cho Yichud Tata, those prophets that had prophecy with Ko, that's the lower unity. Moshe nisnam b'zeh yichudei law, and Moshe who had prophecy with Zeh, that's the supernal unity. V'zeh u'maylas limud Torah, lemor zeh davar, and that's the greatness of the study of Torah, to say that this thing, that Zeh davar is the gili of Zeh into Malchus. V'zeh shekazu b'emes v'yatzi v'yafeh davar hazeh chulu, and that's why we say nemes v'yatzi after Shema, that this is good and beautiful, this thing, this Malchus, with Shach of Chalach Machulu al derech shebekriyas Yamsuf Zakeli, just like by Kriyas Yamsuf, we have the Gilui of the Helam, and we said this is our Kale, V'zoki Zeh Kol Adam, and that's because this is all of man, L'tzavos L'zeh, to command to this, all these inyanim of Zeh, so Malahalan Be'em of Yira V'ratas V'zeh, and that's the same idea, as just like over there by the giving of the Torah, it was with fear and awe and trembling and sweating. Daled Bechinos Lios Gilu Shem Havaya. He had 4 levels in order to reveal the name of Hashem. Zeh Havaya Kevinu Lo, that this is Havaya, this is Hashem, is the concept of Zeh also corresponds with the Shem Hashem, which are these 4 concepts in the Shem Hashem of awe and fear and so forth. V'dal Yudin, Milui Av, and also the 4 Yuds. And the Sofei tables of Shemav, Shkenegdam Amud Moshe Bahar Mem Yom, that corresponding with this, Moshe stood in the mountain for 40 days. Dala Yudin Da'ani Ladodi V'dodi Li, and you have these 4 Yuds of I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. Mem Seyad the Mikvah Yisrael Havaya. You have these 40 Seyas of the Mikvah of Yisrael as Hashem. Again, you have the concept of 40 of the Yuds from Shem Havaya, Vinyan Mem, Chalos Totoda, and we mentioned the 40 Chalas of the Korban Toda, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Malchus. That the 30 were Matzah and 10 were Chametz.